So, all right. Okay. So there's only a few of us on tonight. So we'll have to see how much, you guys probably won't have as many questions about this kind of stuff, but we'll get it recorded. That way, we can have it for people to watch later. So the topic is goals and progress. And some of this stemmed out of our coach call last night about talking about progress. But I think it's also important to talk about setting those goals. So I have a group starting next week for Portion Fix that we're going to be focusing on, obviously, some nutrition goals and doing those things. So I thought this would be a good time to talk about how to set those goals and how to think about setting the goals. Because a lot of times, if I say, what's your goal? Most of the time it's like lose weight, right?
Yep.
Tone,
Yep.
Get that one a ton, right? Get stronger. Was that the eye roll because of the word tone, Beverly?
Yeah.
I know.
Like,
I hate that word too. I hate it. I'm going on record. I hate it. Hate it.
I use that word a lot.
Yeah, you do. And I just keep my mouth shut because it's fine. It's none of my business. So, okay. So
the word tone. What's wrong with it?
Well, you don't tone anything. You're adding muscle, you're getting stronger. You're not like, it's all about changing your body fat percentage or your body composition. Toning isn't actually really a thing. Like when people say tone, it means they want to work their muscles so their muscles show, or
Right.
that their body is more rigid, right? Less jiggly, or something like that, right? You're thinking of someone who looks athletic. So I don't know. Tone is just not really like an action.
I want my butt to look less cottage cheesy. Is that better?
well, but the problem is that people feel like, I don't know, when I hear people say that they want to get tone, they have this abstract way that they think that tone occurs.
Right.
They don't realize that it takes you building muscle and losing fat.
In more than 3 weeks.
And it takes a long time because, it takes years to develop toned look.
Yes. True story. Okay. So going back to that. But these are broad goals, right? Like if someone says, I want to lose weight. So you don't just lose weight, right? There's actions that go into your daily routine for you.
Phone's going to turn on.
What'd you say?
My phone's going to turn off. It's getting hot.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I disappeared with my phone.
Okay. Well, then you can catch the recording later. We'll have it all on here. So when, to lose weight, there's a certain set of actions that have to happen. And so when we're goal setting, I really like to dig down a few layers. So if your goal is to lose weight, then what does that look like for you? Are you snacking all the time? Are you not eating very many veggies? So your plate is filled with a lot of, more dense calorie foods versus maybe some veggies and fiber foods. Are you not eating enough? And maybe you're at a standstill with your weight loss and your body just needs a little more fuel for what you're doing. All of those things contribute, right? And then you can take it even a notch further. Like, what does each meal look like? Are you paying attention to the calories you're putting in? Are you tracking the food you're eating? Are you trying to have a balanced meal, or, is breakfast just, a muffin? I just said that for Mariana. So, what I'm saying? So when we're setting goals, it's really important to have something specific you can focus on. And in the groups I lead, I tend to like to focus on a singular thing, something that's going to get you a more bang for your buck. And that could be like, maybe dinners are your hardest time. That's the time when maybe you're not able to prep for them or focus on them or whatever it is. And then it ends up being a fast food. So maybe your goal for 2 weeks or a week or whatever it is, right? That's the other important piece, is the time attached to it. Maybe your goal is to prep something ahead or get some crock pot meals or something in place so you don't have to get fast food. Or maybe you limit the fast food, right, to maybe once a week is a fast food night. And just making those small changes, that's where it happens that you lose the weight, right? So it's really getting focused in on goals that are attainable in that way, but also really mean something. And you can say, okay, this week I only ate out one time and I actually made my food the other 6 days. We had either had leftovers or I prepped it. And now look at how my week has gone. And then that's where we go into the progress, right? So you can say, okay, I had this type of week. And so this was my progress. I did really great at eating at home, eating nutritious foods, following this plan. And I feel more energized. I slept better. Whatever the things are happening, it's not just the scale, right? So if our progress is only measured by the scale, we're really going to have a small story to look at, a small section of our life to look at. So the progress also needs to be built into these things of, how am I feeling day to day? And what's my mindset around food? Do I feel more at ease because I planned my dinner and now I came home and dinner's already ready in the crock pot, and so my stress level's better? And to acknowledge those things happening is also so, so important in the weight loss, in whatever you want to ultimately have be the goal. So that's the kind of stuff. So I figured we could kind of go through, maybe, I don't know, we could talk about some either your personal or some other client goals, people you've worked with, to talk about like some of the specific goals that you find are really important with your people, and then also some of those specific progress markers to focus on other than the scale. And and I say that, like, I don't want it to get like losing weight doesn't matter, because it is important, right? It is a metric still, but it's not the only thing. And if it's hindering you continuing on a good path, like that the scale isn't moving as fast as you want it to, then that's an issue, right? You want to focus on things that your life should feel better because of the things you're doing. It shouldn't be more stressed out. It shouldn't feel more starved for things. It should feel better. You should feel better with exercise, with nutrition. It shouldn't feel worse, right? So what are some of the goals that you guys hear, and how can we kind of notch them down to something that's like a specific thing?
Well, one thing that I hear is that, people naturally, they want to lose weight, as you were saying. And today during 645, Amwala was talking about how if you want to lose weight, you have to expend, for 2 pounds a week, it's 7,500 calories for the whole week. And he broke it down. And then if it's obviously, you break it down into, each day. And that's actually, he's saying that it's not just in that time frame of working out, because you're only going to burn 200 to maybe 400 calories, depending upon, because that's my thing, is like, you'll do the workout and you're like, how many calories did I burn? And then you're like, oh, I can't even eat 5 M&Ms. And it's like depressing, like when you think about it in context of those 100-calorie packs that you see at the store.
Right.
And so when he does it like that, then you're like, well, it's not just that, it's moving your body and all these other figures. And I think that when we talk about losing weight, it's important to understand that the calorie deficit that you need to run, you need to expend more calories than what you're taking in, but taking in the good calories, not like peanut M&Ms and goldfish.
Right. Yeah. And to be clear, that 7,500 calories is a deficit to your regular. Yeah. So and so 15 to 30%, depending on your workout. Well, it's really like 15 to 20% can be exercise. 70 to 60% of your burn is going to be just your BMR, so your basal metabolic rate. And where you can really affect your weight loss is in the NEAT area, which is the non-exercise, what's the A? Thermogenesis, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. Is that right? Is it activity?
Sounds right.
Okay. Non-exercise, it's non-exercise thermogenesis. So basically, we're going to call it NET. And so it's basically laundry, walking around, if you walk the dog, these are not exercise moments, but you're moving. Chewing your food can even be in there, right? Like there was one class I was taking, and he talked about how when he was having steak and he had to chew his food, he leaned out more than having ground meat because you can just swallow it fast. So he was in like a really super dialed in nutrition plan that he could tell that, because that's like every single calorie is being counted there and monitored, and he was leaning out. So that's why you would know that. But in normal day to day, you're not necessarily going to track that. But the point being is there's all these places, right? We're sedentary in a lot of our day that you can add in just a loop around your house, right? Or getting up to do the dishes or do the laundry or whatever it is. And that movement makes just as big of a difference as your exercise. Now, it doesn't add muscle, and you don't get to calculate that muscle added in there other than in your basal metabolic rate or your RMR. And that shows up over time, right? So you actually burn more when you're resting. But he makes such a great point about that, right? Like, what was his sitting is the new smoking?
Yes, that's what he said today. Sitting is the new smoking. And I was like, yeah, I feel that.
It totally is. And, a lot of people, we've talked about this when we talked about metabolism, but as we get older, we move less. I move less now than when I had toddlers. I didn't get to sit down, right? You had to follow them around everywhere.
You're sitting for the first time in like 15 years. You're like, this is what this is like.
Right. So, people are always like, your metabolism slows down as you age. Well, you're slowing down as you age. You're also not holding as much muscle likely as you age. So those are all things to take into account too.
Very true. Definitely, I find myself sitting more now, I think, sitting and working, and
Yeah. Well, I feel like I don't have anywhere to go. Like normally I would go more, but I'm like, I don't really want to go more because then I expose myself more. So it's like, I don't really want to go expose myself more in a COVID type of way, not in a,
especially the last
type of way.
The last year. So
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's where you see a lot of people talk about that 15, 20, 30 pounds they've put on in a year and a half. That's why, right? Some of it's they're probably more sedentary. Some of it's they could have gone for some comfort foods, but that 10 to 15 pounds is probably like when you're in that range, it's probably just you being more sedentary and not moving around quite as much.
I get the one a lot that people want to be their same weight as they were in high school or when they got married or before they had kids or
before they had hips.
Because we were talking about this morning, how your body changes after you have kids, and how that was this morning, wasn't that? Really?
Was that?
Yeah, but we were talking about how your body changes after you do an exercise program or you have a major event in your life. It all changes it. You're never going to go back to the way you were when you were in high school or before you got married. And yes, you can be healthy and muscular and less flabby, but I don't think you can ever get back to where you were because your body's different. You've gone through different phases of your life. You've gone through events. You're less stressed or more stressed or less sleep, or so I don't know. That's one of the complaints or one of the goals that some of my clients want to attain.
Yeah. I don't even know what I weighed in high school, but I hear that too. Like I want to weigh what I weighed in high school or pre-pregnancy weights kind of a thing. Yeah. I mean, in high school, you aren't even done growing yet. So
in high school, I looked like a runway fashion model that needed a cheeseburger. So I'm not trying to go for that look.
Little did we know. And a lot of times, you may want to look like that, but you don't want to be healthy like that, because I know a lot of the crap I ate when I was, 21, 22, 25 and beyond, I ate just as much as my husband, and I ate pizza and pasta and bread, and I ate some vegetables, but not as much as I ate all the carbs.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, I feel like I'm much healthier now, even though I weigh more than I did, but I'm way more muscular. I mean, I didn't have muscles. I was flabby, even though I might have been, weighed less.
Right. And I think the important part too, like, so when you're talking in terms of goals with that, right? What does that actually look like? What does your day look like in nutrition and fitness in order to get back to that weight? And are you willing to do that? Right. Because I think that's the other misconception is I've had a salad and I worked out today. So tomorrow I should totally have lost 10 pounds. Right.
Yep.
So that's right.
Yep.
And so you have to also, like, we look at these fitness competitors or we look at Instagram and see someone who's, rocking her bikini or whatever. And we're like, I want to look like that. But you also have to set the goal then to do the work they're doing. And to, so that's the other missing piece, I think, is that we think we want to look like something, but we're not willing to give up some of the other things, right? Like maybe that's your Frappuccino or, whatever it is, some pizza on Friday nights. Because there's definitely a toss up in your nutrition. And the closer you get to that lower body fat percentage, the more dialed in it has to be to change it, to continue to change it. And so we can look at people and be like, oh, I want to look at that. But are you willing to do the same things they're doing to get there? And hopefully they're doing it in a good way.
Well, and will you sustain it once you achieve it? That's the next thing. Like you have to be able to sustain that. And sometimes depending upon how you're achieving, it might not be sustainable.
Right. Like even the super trainers talk about that they all slim down when they do their program, right? Like Megan did MBF, I think around 13 or 14%. And she normally lives somewhere around 17 or 18%. And so we see her in the workouts and are like, I want that, but she doesn't stay there all the time. That's for an event type thing. And same with these competitors. Jack and I were talking about this the other day. I'm like, bodybuilders, they don't live in that shredded look. That's not sustainable for them. They have to go through sessions of building and then shredding. And, that's the other piece. When are you seeing this goal body or whatever you think you want to look like? And is it sustainable?
Well, and how long have they been doing that program or going through those rounds? Or, I saw Autumn did the story the other day where she was going through all these testing and they weighed her and she weighed in at 114 pounds and she had 24% body fat, which is the highest body fat she's ever had, she was saying. And I found that interesting because I weigh more than her, but my body fat percentage is much lower than hers. And so it's just, but she doesn't look like, if anybody else had that, because we're always looking in the mirror and we're so critical of ourselves, we might not appreciate that because we look at her and we're like, wow, like she looks fantastic, So it's been great to see her transparency about all of that because it really helps everybody like put it into perspective and have like a realist view.
Yeah. And like along the same lines, Tanya, I loved that she had a little bit on the edge of her leggings, right? Little hanging over. Cause I'm like, that's reality. And she's in amazing shape. Like who can beat Tanya in any of that stuff? I don't even, Autumn was barely keeping up, right?
I couldn't even keep up with
Autumn
her as a
wasn't keeping
modifier in T25. So
Yeah. And see, that's the thing, like, that's what a real body looks like. Like the skin isn't super tight I think she's the same age I am. I think she's 47. Lily's 47 too. And are you 47 now?
I'll be 47 in November.
Okay. So I'll be 48. And so, it's one of those things where like, that's more reality. And we were talking last night about this on the coach call, because it's like, I kind of wonder too, like, is she aging and then whatever she had going isn't sustainable for Autumn? You know what I mean? And maybe this is just part of the new transition of her body. It's still strong, it's still healthy, but like maybe it's, it looks a little different. So.
For sure.
Hi, Kelly.
Hi.
So Kelly, we're talking about setting goals. but not just setting those big broad goals, setting goals that you actually can, work through daily. So like if your goal is to lose weight, it's not like all of a sudden you're just losing weight. You have to, figure out, what's my problem area for losing the weight? Like, do I need to focus in on my dinners? How can I do that? And change them up so that, it's working toward the goal. And then we're also talking about progress, how we can track different forms of progress to make sure that we are, feeling good about where we're at. Because if we're only using the scale, I think that sometimes plays a little mental game with us that's not so great. And like the other day I was on my paddleboard and I was up and down on that thing. And I'm like, man, my balance is good. I'm like, hold it. And like, but that's only because like a lot of this 645, my balance is so much better. And, just the mobility of my hips, making sure that I can like tuck under and stand right up on it. I don't have tight calves. I don't have tight hips. I can just kind of come right up. But those things matter, right? That's day-to-day function that matters. The fact that like Jack he's so fun. I always use Jack as my example. He's my mini me. But he's, like we're carrying the groceries in. He's like, we can take them all. So, you gotta like, you gotta get them all in. But like, those are things where maybe in the past I'd have made multiple trips because they were too heavy. But, now we're doing those farmer marches and we're ready. And that's what that kind of stuff is all about. And I love it. So what kind of ways do you guys deal with progress? Like not deal with it, but mark progress. What things do you see that you like to, like, are you tracking weights or maybe just how you're feeling, clothing sizes, things other than the scale? How do you mark your progress?
Putting on a pair of jeans to make sure they still fit.
That's a good one.
Not sweatpants.
It's yoga pants lie.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about blue jeans, zip them up, not having to lay on the bed, get a hanger to like.
Exactly.
Yeah, but you know what? I do notice too, not only on the waist, because all my jeans, even pre-COVID, they fit me. But the problem I do have is my legs, depending on the pair of jeans and how they're cut, my calves are bigger. So they fit me up here just fine, but I can tell that my calves have gotten like a little bit bigger. So I'm like, this feels weird. I don't like how this style of jean fits on me. Or my thighs got a little bit bigger, but my waist didn't get bigger. So that's kind of weird gains maybe, or not. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think so. I mean,
No,
you
those are
see a lot
gains.
of the fit girls that's the problems with jeans, right? I mean,
That's
I'll take
fit girl
the
problem.
muscles any day. Just give me some leggings that look like jeans or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, fit girl problems. That's
Fit girl
that's a fit
problems.
girl problem.
There you go.
That's what happens to me. I gain in my legs and become more muscular, which I used to have a problem with. Same thing with my shoulders. I would get like bulky and I would think, oh my God, even my husband would be like, you're not going to get too bulky, are you? I'm like, hold on a minute here, buddy.
Like none of your business.
Like, yeah. So, but yeah, those are just fit girl problems. And I guess my mindset has changed over the years, and I've learned to love my shoulders and love my legs the way that they are, whether, sometimes they're more muscular than others. A lot of it, I've noticed, depends on whether I'm retaining water or not, whether it's that time of month or not, which I can totally see in my abs. I can totally tell. And that's usually one of my markers is my ab area, because it totally fluctuates with how much crap I'm eating or not, basically. So for me, at least, for my body. And I think at least for me, it's learning how my body works and reacts to different foods. And but to your point earlier of being disciplined or not and wanting to look like that person that bodybuilds or something, I can't live like that. And that's definitely not me. I at one point thought I wanted to do that, and then they're like, well, you got to do this, this, and this. And I'm like, oh no, I'm going to stick to my 80-20 and I'm good. I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
But it's a choice and a decision that you have to make if you want to put the work in or not.
It is, and I hope it doesn't come across like you can't, because you can do all of that, right? It's like, do you want to? And you have to kind of decide that on your own. Like, how do you want your life to look? Like, I like the fact that I can go have my happy hour and a few cocktails. And if we order pizza, well, we order pizza. You know what I mean? I'm not going to stress out about it. And I'm so much less stressed from food, but still in the most control I've ever been, which is, you know what I mean? I think that's also like, feels like it's going to be an oxymoron, but really the more you feel in control of how things are going, the better you feel about the situation and where your progress is at. And it's not necessarily feeling controlled, right? It's that you feel in control, that you feel empowered through your choices.
I would definitely agree. I think it's that you're making that conscious choice of, okay, I'm going to drink this skinny margarita and it's okay because tomorrow I might be a little bit more pudgy because there's probably something in here that I probably shouldn't be having, but I'm going to drink it anyways and enjoy it fully. And just know that tomorrow, if I happen to get on the scale, which I haven't been on the scale in like forever, that I might be a couple pounds up, and that's okay, because as soon as, a couple days later, I'll be right back down where I normally sit. And I think it's making that, again, that conscious choice of how you deal with the scale and how your clothes fit, and however, like you said, you measure yourself.
Right. Yeah. And one more thing I think too is really important. It's like, if you make the choice, feeling good about the choice. Because if you go into tomorrow then being like, this is either saying yourself is worthless, this is worthless, F it, this doesn't work, or whatever it is, right? That doesn't help anybody through this. And I think we don't give ourselves enough credit, even in these small changes, that those are the things that keep us going, right? So like, I had someone recently who talked about how they only lost 20 of the 30 pounds they wanted to lose. I'm like, that's awesome, right? You're still further ahead than you were. And if it takes another year to lose that 10 pounds, you're still going to get there, right? It doesn't have to be next week. It doesn't have to be in a month. And because the thing you're changing is up here, because you're changing how you're handling things, whatever the mindset is, whatever. I listened to this awesome podcast today about working with kids and nutrition and picky eaters. And it was called What the Fork. It's a really great podcast. And they interviewed a gal, and I want to say her Instagram handle is Kids Eat and Color. And I need to go find it because she sounds amazing too. But they're talking about, now I just lost my train of thought. They were talking about, what were we on here? See, the train just left the station. Damn it.
How you only lost
my
20
world.
pounds and you can't do it overnight. And
Okay. Yeah. They're talking about picky eaters and how they, like just because someone made a face as a baby, like with a banana, that doesn't mean they don't like it. You have to keep reintroducing it. But you have to have these progress, like it's not going to be overnight. You're changing your mindset. And especially as adults, we're so that's what it was. We have all these weird things, right? That we developed in the last 20, 30, 40 years. And now we're telling our kids, but we don't know where they came from necessarily. But like, you could be like, you have to finish your plate. Or you could be like, you have to try that one bite. Whatever your rules are, they came from somewhere. And so we have the same rules with ourselves that we have to tweak and readjust in order to be in a different mindset for a different body. Because you absolutely have to change your mindset to be in a different body, because your body is there because of whatever's been happening in your mind up until this point. So it has to change in order to change. So, but highly recommend the podcast. It was really great. And I need to go find this gal on Instagram.
Like it. Sounds good.
All right, so I know Kim wanted to make a list for our coach call last night about ways you can talk about progress. So we've talked about, let's see, clothing. I like to put how I'm doing on my paddleboard. So mad I didn't get to go today. Okay, so what else do you guys measure progress with, or tell your clients to measure progress with?
The weight lift, if you're lifting heavier than you were, that's why you have to track your weights. I've become obsessive about tracking my weights because that's really, for me, specifically a 9-week control freak, because I went through it so many times, where I saw the progress that if I hadn't have tracked those weights, I never would have seen it. So even at times I was like, oh, the scale's not moving or whatever, and I wasn't seeing, because you're with yourself every day. Seeing the weights that I was going up in and what I had done before was really great to see that.
Yeah, that's a big one.
I think how I feel in general.
Yeah, I think that's really good too. I really think you have to kind of check in with yourself once in a while, because sometimes we get so busy. And
Yeah.
you have to be like, wait, how am I feeling? Like, how am I sleeping? How's my mood?
Yeah, I always feel better after working out. One thing I will share real quick with Dave, he started working out, so yay, 3-4 times a week on his own, yes. And he feels so much better.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And I think he sleeps better too. So I'm very excited for him and proud of him. And I actually told him I was proud of him for just, keeping it up, because he's been doing it for quite a while. But I think going to physical therapy is what got him going on a regular routine. And so, yeah, he feels better, and there's so many other benefits to working out. Not going to mention one in particular, but y'all can guess what I'm talking about. But
I know what you're saying.
But yes, that is a plus. Workout, guess what? So
It
yeah.
raises testosterone levels.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but no, I think just for me personally, I feel better when I work out. So.
Your stamina is better, even like for running up a hill. Like one of my customers, she's like, oh my gosh, I can run up the hill now and not be winded. Stuff like that is a huge way that you can I guess a win, basically, and something that you can look back on and like, oh my gosh, I used to never be able to do this, and now look at me, I can run up a hill, or I can run a mile and not feel winded, or something that you used to do that now, because you've been working out on a regular basis, it's easier or easy to do.
Right.
Carrying those groceries upstairs, like you said,
yeah,
simple things like that, just daily activities of life.
Well, it's funny. I even noticed it in something as simple as like putting my luggage in the overhead bin. Like, you always have some dude be like, oh, can I get that for you? I'm like, nope, got it.
No assistance needed over here. Thanks.
Yeah, got it. Can I help you with yours? Yeah. But, it's one of those things though that you notice, right? Like it didn't feel like, oh, like everything's twisting the wrong way. And like, there's just such a difference when you have the strength and you're not doing it in an awkward way, right? Like where you're not twisting the wrong way or using the wrong muscles. When you're used to lifting things with good form, then you lift other things with good form, and it becomes more simple. And yeah, I like that. I got to get this grip thing for the jars, because I am like, I swear, the weakest person with jars. I don't know what it is. Drives me crazy. Oh, I can't hear you, Lily. Oh, now we go. Now we can.
I was gonna say it's probably something with grip strength.
Probably.
I don't remember what program. I guess it was maybe
MBF. MBF, you're holding on to that thing forever.
Yeah, MBF and MBFA. I had grip strength problems. Like I could lift heavy, but it was like my hands would like cramp up afterwards, and it was
Yeah.
But yeah, that was
I
definitely.
need a program talking about grip strength. I need finger strength. My fingers are like super weak. And I know this because of course I'm in Texas and we have guns. I can't pull triggers on any of them.
Huh. I wonder if you could like go on your fingertips when you do like your push-ups or something. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what.
I don't know, but
exercise.
my
Any
family
muscles?
laughs at me all the time. Like, how can you lift that 30 pounds or whatever you got over there and you can't pull a trigger?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really work
Yeah,
this
I don't know.
finger.
You need to like,
No, do you not, do you remember the things with the two, it's
Yeah.
like and
Yeah.
you'd squeeze it, like,
Yes,
I know,
you know what? I do, but I tend to forget about it and it's on the bottom of under my bands and all
and you'll have
kinds
to
of
make
other
sure
stuff.
you're using
Yeah.
that pointer finger the most too. Not,
Or-
you don't let your middle finger use it.
or get like a ball and like,
I have a stress ball.
Yeah.
Yes, I
yeah,
know.
stress
Yes, I know. I've been my dad, my brother, my nephew, they've been giving me crap about it. And they're like, little girl, you better start working out those fingers of yours.
Yeah, the stress balls are good. When I was boxing, I used one and I would like watch TV or whatever, and I would just have it in my hand because you have to be able to, strong. So yeah, you just something passive, whether you're watching TV or walking the dog or whatever, and you have a free hand. And then just make sure you switch hands. Don't.
Need a progress update.
I'm gonna
on
have one
that.
huge like index finger. Oh.
All right. Well, does anybody have anything else they want to add about that, or if we can move on to labels or general discussion about portion fix or to be mindset?
Are you going to be doing a meal prep anytime soon?
Yeah, the 12th at 11.
Next weekend, not this weekend.
Correct.
Okay.
And, we're gonna focus in on breakfast, lunch. So like back to school type things that you can kind of make ahead and just grab and go.
I almost put August 12th. You meant September 12th. Oops. August is gone.
August is gone. Yeah, unfortunately, or fortunately, whatever. It's my birthday month, so I'm like, it's all good. I'm getting all those discount codes in now in my inbox where I'm like, ooh, where should I go shopping? My dog, there's a sprinkler in the next yard and my dog's freaking out over it. And now she's got the neighbors freaking out over it. Yeah, that's great. Okay, so any labels?
I have two actually.
All
So
right.
I have this one.
Margarita. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's actually, it was at Safeway and I happened to be walking by the tub and I was like, oh, skinny margarita. Interesting. Okay. So, and it was $1. So I was
Is
like,
that
all right.
Chi-Chi's brand? Is that what I see?
Yeah, it's Chi-Chi's.
So there
So-
used to be a Chi-Chi's near my hometown, and that's where I would go like right before I got my braces tightened because it was so good, and like I wanted to have like Mexican.
Oh,
I
well,
want to be able to eat.
maybe this is just as good. I don't know. I haven't even
Well, I can
actually-
drink then. Yeah.
I haven't opened it. It's still closed. But I looked it up online and it says that it's 95 calories and it is a blend of tequila, triple sec, lemon juice, and it's sweetened with agave nectar. So I figured that's actually pretty decent for,
Yeah, it's probably, well, if I think an ounce and a half, I can't remember now if it's an ounce or an ounce and a half of hard alcohol is roughly 60 calories. So that's probably not a lot of sugar added then. You could
Yeah.
definitely just make that on your own without the agave nectar.
I
It's
know.
Really
I know,
good.
but it was $1 and I was like, the nutrition call is coming up. So I'm totally going to buy it and share it. So, yeah. Plus it's, it would be really easy in the RV to
Yep.
bring this or camping or something like that.
What's
I was
the
like,
alcohol percentage in it? Does it say?
well, one thing I read said, which I'm not quite sure, said it was 20%. I was like, that seems like a lot.
That does seem like a lot for that amount of calories too.
I didn't dig deeper than that because I was
Yeah.
like, wow, that seems like a high percentage. So I don't
Yeah.
know if that just
Well, you
says
get more bang for your buck than a White Claw.
yes.
So you could sip on this a little slower versus a White Claw.
Yeah, I would just serve this like over ice.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm sure it says on here somewhere, but I don't know where it is. So, and then I love mango. So this is my mango. And my question was, this is freeze dried
Yeah.
and it's just mangoes. Do you lose any nutritional value when you freeze dry something versus dried? Because I normally get the Trader Joe's dried mango, which is my favorite with no sugar on it.
Yeah.
So I was curious if there was a difference in dried or dehydrated.
I don't know. You are changing it. I don't know. I think that'd have to be something to look at. I can look it up and see if I can find something on that that tells what kind of nutrition would change from it. Like C and I don't know what else would be in that but C is a water soluble. So I don't know if when you take the water out, if that changes C's ability to be as strong or changes it in any way. Yes, I don't know. I'll look and see.
Yeah, I was just curious because
Yeah.
I normally, like I said, get the dried stuff, but I was like, oh, I'll try it, see if I like it, and see
Yeah.
if it's a different. Plus, it has single serving packages inside of this package. So
Oh, that's nice.
this is better for me because I could eat the entire thing of mango.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing with dried fruit, right? Is you generally end up eating more than a serving than of regular fruit, because regular fruit has that water content and you're more full with it.
Yeah. So that's definitely my challenge is eating too much dried mango.
So I lied. I do have a label.
Of course you do. It might be your last night with us. You have to.
No, I'm well, now that I know I can like pop in at like the last half an hour, then game on, friends. Or I'll just stream you while I'm in class.
There you go. We can wait, everybody. Just turn us around.
So I have never had this before, but we grabbed it over the weekend. Hint.
Yeah, I like them a lot.
It was not what I was expecting. It legitimately is a hint of flavor.
Yep.
I thought it would be more aggressive, and it was not. And the first sip, you're expecting something, and that's not what I got, but we went with it. So in it is purified water and Bev's favorite, natural flavors, which I'm like now like permanently scarred. Every time I see natural flavors, I'm like, oh, Bev would not like this. And I was like, and I don't blame her because we don't know what that means, right? But the serving facts is everything is 0, which kind of makes me even a little more skeptical. So I don't know if you guys want to.
Yeah, I've seen the creator of it, and they do an essence, which basically means like the oil, like when you peel an orange and you've got that essence that comes off of it, right? And you can smell it, and it kind of has a little bit.
That's a fair assessment of what this tastes like.
Yeah, so that's what they do to have the 0 calories. I actually like them a lot because I didn't want it to be too powerful, but I don't like having like we just have too many bottles in our house, and that's like kind of why I stopped, because it's like I wish, you know what I mean, I could just get that out of a faucet versus having because we pay 10 cents a bottle too. 10
Yeah, I
cents
think
a can.
we pay 5, but we were at a deli and we wanted to grab a drink, and so we picked these up, and I finally drank it today, and I was like, oh, this is not what I thought it was going to be. It is essence. Yeah,
just a little bit. Then it's not even enough like where you would want to mix it with a drink, whereas like a seltzer seems to have a little more going with it. But these I like cold and like plain, and I feel like when you drink it cold, you get a little more flavor.
Yeah, it was weird because you drink it and then you're confused because you're like, I taste a flavor, but it's not really there. So you have to really go through the entire bottle before you figured out what it is. So
it's true. That's probably their plan, right? It's like chips where it's got just enough of something where you want another because you want to taste it, but it's not so much that you're like, oh, one's enough.
Yeah. Chips aren't my thing.
Oh, I love chips.
Except I do like those cauliflower chips that the crackers.
Oh,
actually.
gee, I was gonna look for
Cheddar crackers.
those. I totally forgot.
Yeah, surprisingly, I actually really like them.
Have you tried the cheddar ones yet? I haven't. Are they good?
They are good. They taste just like cheddar crackers, and yeah,
Nice.
they're good. So, and you get like 50 of them still, so which is a lot.
It's a lot.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It is.
So, yeah, I actually really like those ones.
Those are so good. That was like the greatest thing that I think that you shared in the recent couple of weeks. I ordered the regular ones. I'm like, oh, these are good.
Nice. Well, I'll have to see. They had a couple different kinds, but I've only tried the regular, the cauliflower ones and then the cheddar ones. So I have to see.
Keep your snack recommendations coming, Lily.
Yeah, and you know, I made the I think it's just called whipped feta dip from the Mindset, To Be Mindset recipes. I think it was in the Mindset membership. And it's half cottage cheese, half feta, a little bit of lemon. I did lemon juice. It called for lemon peel, black pepper, thyme, and then a little bit of almond milk. And I didn't have almond milk, so I just threw a little water in there. And it's really good because I've made regular whipped feta dip before, and this was really like just as good. So highly recommend. And then you could spread that on those crackers, stick a little cherry
sounds
tomato on there,
delicious.
or a little salmon or something. I don't know, whatever sounds good.
Yes, that sounds actually delicious.
That does sound
I have to
delicious.
go
The
find
thing
that.
that drives me
recipe
crazy
now.
though is they don't do any containers on it. Like, so, you know what I mean? Like a lot of us are using Portion Fix too, and that will tell you both Portion Fix and To Be Mindset, but To Be Mindset doesn't tell you
No,
anything other than To Be Mindset. And that kind of annoys me a little bit. Cause I
I don't
think,
think it fits. I don't
Well,
think it containerizes well.
well, it should be like
Blue.
it's half a blue, half a red.
Yeah.
Mhm.
on the amount. Yeah.
Cause there's
I don't
really
know.
caloric in
Some-
it. but
Sometimes I feel like she uses quite processed stuff though too.
Totally
And
agree.
then, I mean, that really makes it so that
You
you're
can't.
not, no.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that is what makes it more simplified for people who struggle with getting away from processed foods.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
Yeah. Totally agree.
But
Were
cottage
those the
cheese-
crackers? What?
Cottage cheese and feta are both on the Ultimate Portion Fix
Mhm.
list.
Yeah. and
Yeah,
cheese is a
yeah.
protein. Yeah.
But what I mean is if
They
they
would have a hard
start to
time.
containerize things, then there's going to be a level of expectation that it will all be containerized. And then
And it won't.
what
be.
are they saying about the foods that they're being made that aren't containerized? Oh, well,
Right,
they can't be because they've got science projects in them. So we can't containerize them. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Eat
Yeah.
at your
Like
own
when he
risk.
uses all the low fat stuff, I'm kind of like, well,
Oh yeah.
thanks.
No.
Were those crackers the ones that I was telling you about that I thought looked similar to the ones that I saw at Aldi that time? Or am I
Mhm.
thinking of something else?
No,
Well,
that's the one.
I took a picture of the crackers that I thought were pretty decent, actually. They were they're purple
Mhm.
carrot crackers.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was one of the other kinds, I think.
And this one doesn't have any sugars in it. It's carrot, rice flour, cassava starch, potato starch, whole grain rice, potato flakes, RSPO palm oil. That was that different oil, beet, salt, baking powder, onion, garlic, vegetable blend, which is spinach, broccoli, carrots, tomatoes, beets, shiitake mushrooms, rosemary extract, and parsley. And it is 100 calories, 2 grams of fat, 1 saturated, 19 carbs, 2 dietary fiber, 2 sugars.
Where's the sugar coming from? The beets?
I would say from the grains.
Hmm.
That would be the cassava starch, the potato starch, the whole grain rice. I would imagine
Yeah.
it could be coming from that. What do you think, Deanna?
Yeah, I mean, the beets could have it. It just depends on the
Yeah.
volume, I suppose, too.
Yeah,
2 grams isn't very much though at all.
No,
no. I don't love the RSPO palm oil though.
That means it's sustainable.
Yeah, I just don't love palm oil.
Oh.
it's the
Is
I
there
don't
a
love palm oil.
reason? Is there something we're supposed to know? Tell me all the things, Bev.
Well, it's just not one of the better oils.
Right.
I mean, that's
Do they
all
use
it
it
is.
because it's cheap or it lasts longer? It doesn't spoil?
I think they use it because it's in an unregulated country.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't. Mm-mm. Yeah, I mean, it's not one that provides you with high quality health. I mean, I feel like it's just, like palm kernel oil, hydrogenated palm kernel oil is like in Skittles and other things like that. And palm kernel oil isn't that much better than hydrogenated. I mean, obviously hydrogenated is a step worse in the worst side, but still, so to me, it's like, I don't know, it's like the slippery slope. Palm oil, then
It's a
like
gateway.
they
is what
try
you're
to just use it in different words. That's what I feel like. I feel like they just change the wording so that you aren't triggered by it, or like it doesn't go, oh yeah, that's that one that I'm trying to avoid. Oh, that's different. What is that?
Yeah.
And that's literally because people are now starting to read labels. And so they try to figure out ways to not have you go, oh, I don't want that. Put that back on the shelf.
Well, I think that's why we have so many sugar names, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So then you can list them a couple times in different
Mhm.
places.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. Yeah. So, but yeah, they're almost out of these at Aldi. I didn't buy them though, so it doesn't matter. I didn't want them. I'm like, no, thank you.
I was like, I don't want your gateway oils.
Well, see, I am the type of person that like I have certain things that I will eat. And it's kind of like how we were talking about, like, you have an idea of what you want to look like, and then there comes a time where you may realize what you want to look like and how healthy you want to live. It may not be what you really think, like what you have to do to attain that picture is not really worth that. And yeah, I mean, I do my best to not have a lot of the treats in my house, so that they're really more of a treat. And the things that I want to treat myself with, I mean, like, I eat Reese's, and Reese's are awful. I mean, they are really bad. So, I mean, but that's like something that I will eat, and I won't eat other stuff because I trade it for my Reese's here and there, or I trade it for my margaritas here and there. And it's just, I don't know what I have a tier of like how I want to eat and how many treats I want to have. And I try to not go past that, I guess.
But I think that's a good balance. Like that's a healthy balance. It's like, I think back, I thought about this today, back to what Deanna said a couple weeks ago about how instead of eating the entire cake, she has a piece and she's like, I can have this anytime I want. And so I made sesame noodles for lunch, and yes, I wanted to eat the entire bowl, but I'm like, I can have some now and I can have some later if I want. Like, this is not like the only time I will ever have this in the house. And so I think, to your point, Deanna and Bev, it's a healthy mindset to think about, I'm willing to do this because I know that I can do this and still achieve this, instead of be so restrictive where it's not sustainable.
Right.
Yeah.
And you come away from it feeling like I made a great decision for myself, and a sense of pride about it, versus I can't have that. I wish I could have that. Or, you hear that kind of diet mindset in people where it's like, oh, I can't have that. Can't have it. You know, it's funny because like Jack will even try to use that on me. I'm like, you can eat whatever you want because he's following the nutrition plan right now. I'm like, you can have whatever you want. I go, this plan is for you to help figure out what are the better choices, right? It doesn't mean like that, you know, you can't restrict yourself forever on everything. But you have to figure out, how do I feel on good choices on these better nutrition options? And how do I feel when I'm entering in some of these other ways, you know? And then figure out what works. Cause it's like, you don't, I mean, that's the other thing. We all have these weird things, right? With food, and they're all, they're all different from whatever experiences we had with food. So it's such a personal thing that you really have to do your own work on. Is this working for me? Can I sustain it? Do I feel good doing it? Or does this feel like a battle every day and I don't get what I want and I don't feel like I'm living my life? Because that's miserable. And who wants to do that?
Right.
Nobody.
Yeah,
That's why
something,
I always, tell my clients, it's not a diet, it's a lifestyle, and you have to find what works for you. Otherwise you won't stick with it.
Yeah.
right. Well, and something that I used to always hear, like for years, I would have friends that would be like, oh, you can't have this because it's not on your plan. And I'm like, no, I can have it. I'm just choosing not to.
Yep.
I rather not have that because I know what I want and that I am going to have, and I'm looking forward to that. I don't care about that. Like,
Right.
you know, and it's just like, I actually have freedom from the desire to need to have what they're having.
Yes.
It's like, you know,
yeah.
It's interesting that you should say that, because I had a situation with I think we were in San Francisco and we were getting ice cream, and my daughter was like, oh, you can't have ice cream, can you? And I said, or why weren't you having ice cream or something like that? And I said, well, I don't really want ice cream right now. Like, I don't crave it. Like, I don't, like, it's not my thing. I'd rather go have, and we'd bought these fudge bars at Ghirardelli, and I was like, I'd rather have a fudge bar, to be honest, than, you know, some ice cream with you. And so it's making that choice of, I can have this, but I don't want to have it. I'd rather have this over here that, you know,
Yeah.
so much better to me.
Absolutely. And you have to pinpoint those things that are actually important and not just filling in, you know, because you're trying to fill something. So.
right. Yep.
All right, ladies, I got to cook some Hawaiian pork chops. So
Yeah.
off the Fixate. I swear we make these like every 2 weeks. They're so good.
Are they easy to make?
They are. You literally just marinate them in soy sauce, ketchup, and I use the Portland ketchup, which is delicious if you can get your hands on. I don't know how far it's distributed, but it doesn't have very much sugar. It's really good. Ginger, pineapple juice. So they marinate in that, stick them on the grill, and then you take that sauce and heat it up. And she puts cornstarch in it to thicken it up. I just heat it up a little bit, and we just kind of do a drizzle on it after you're done. And you grill the pineapple too. And I serve it over cauliflower rice most times. Kids usually do it on rice. So easy breezy. What, Lily?
Sounds delicious.
Yeah, it's really good. It's just got a lot of flavor. And then with that pineapple, it's just a nice combo. You get the acid and it's kind of a sweet, salty.
I gotta try that.
Yeah, it
You
doesn't
just
take long.
You just reminded me of the grilled cherries and peaches. I think it's grilled cherries and peaches that was in Fixate. Oh my gosh, those are so good.
Grilled peaches are amazing. And then if you do a little ricotta, which can be your red,
Ooh.
and just a little bit of honey.
Well, we just ate them just the way that they have you make them in there, and it was amazing. We didn't add anything to it. It would be good like on top of the cauliflower ice cream.
Oh
My
yeah.
gosh, that would be heaven right there. But no, we just did it just the way, just the cherries and the peaches, and then it's like coconut oil and cinnamon.
Oh, okay.
Maybe
Yeah.
a little bit of maple syrup. I can't remember what the sweetener is in that. But yeah, I mean, it was, oh my gosh, it's so good. But yeah, you brush them on, like, you know, you skewer them, and then you brush them, and then you grill them, and then you brush them again after they're done grilled. Oh, so good. So,
Hello.
so good.
Good
There's
on,
so
like,
many good.
waffles.
Yeah. Oh, that would be really good on waffles. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it would be really good.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Or
Yeah.
pancakes.
Yeah, yeah. But then with waffles or pancakes, then you need to have some eggs or something on the side, or else you'd be like up a sugar buzz creek. You'd be like, oh my gosh,
I love it.
you
Well,
would.
and,
You'd be like
everybody needs to
reaching
wear
for
red
more
tomorrow.
sugar really quick. What?
Yeah, everybody needs to wear red tomorrow.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
red.
Funky
Red.
stuff.
Oh yeah, red.
They're red.
I got
I
some
got
red.
burgundy.
That works.
Like, I don't think I even have a red shirt. Oh yeah, I do. Yeah, I know.
You can make
I'll
it
go with
happen.
my burgundy
Okay.
leggings. Burgundy leggings.
There you
That
go. All
works.
right, I'll take a picture really quick.
Okay.
We'll tell Kathy. Hopefully Kathy can catch the.
Aw,
The
poor
ref-
Kathy.
Oh, there we go.
I know.
I know. All right, ready? Cheese. I'm all off to the side. Yeah, I know. You need your husband to change his class so she can get on Thursday nights with the computer.
Aw.
All right, you guys. Have a good night. And yeah, we'll see you tomorrow in red.
Good.
Good. Bye, guys.
Bye. Good to see you, Mariana. I'm glad you're good. I'm glad you're okay.